Before assembling the crankcase, apply a light coat of engine oil to the cylinder walls, pistons, and piston rings. Temporarily install the ignition pulse generator bolt. Hold pistons number 3 and number 5 and turn the crankshaft until piston number 1 is at top dead center. Install piston base A from the rear of the engine with the grooves facing the pistons. Make sure the piston skirts are in the grooves in the piston base. Slide piston base A under all 3 pistons. You may have to rotate the crankshaft slightly to allow the pistons to sit flush on the piston base. Install piston base B under the number 1 piston, snug against the connecting rod. Install the ring compressors with the beveled edge facing up. Squeeze the compressors tightly to compress the rings. Fasten the Velcro straps. Position the compressor wires so they all lie over the same side of the crankcase. Align the compressor gaps in relation to the crankshaft, as shown. Clean the mating surfaces of any oil or foreign material using contact cleaner or brake cleaner. Place clean shop towels over the mating surfaces and transmission to protect them from damage. Place the wooden blocks on end on opposite corners of the left crankcase. Align piston number 1 with cylinder number 1. Lower the right crankcase over the left until the piston is in the cylinder and the crankcase is resting on the blocks. Remove piston base B. With both hands, carefully pull the wires on cylinder number 1's ring compressor. Separate the 2 halves and remove the compressor. While holding the upper crankcase, turn the wooden blocks on their side. Align the number 3 and number 5 cylinders onto the pistons. Let the crankcase rest on the wooden blocks. Remove the shop towels. Remove piston base A. Pull the wires on the compressors with both hands. Separate the 2 halves and remove the 2 compressors. Align the center shift fork with the transmission gear shifter groove. Wipe the mating surfaces with a clean shop towel and apply sealant. Make sure sealant does not get into the oil passages. Remember, it only takes a small amount of sealant to fill in any imperfections in the mating surfaces. Install the 2 dowel pins and the oil pipe. While holding the right crankcase, remove the wooden blocks and apply sealant in those areas. Lower the right crankcase onto the left case. Make sure there are no gaps between the crankcase mating surfaces. Install new washers on the right crankcase 10mm bolts. Apply clean engine oil to the threads and seating surface and install the bolts in the right crankcase. Install the 11 6mm bolts in the right crankcase. Tighten all the bolts in a crisscross pattern in several steps to the specified torque. Install the 4 8mm bolts and new washers into the left crankcase. Tighten in a crisscross pattern in several steps to the specified torque.